Okay, as I said in the past, the face frames here are kind of our roadmap to the cabinet build. So with that being said, I'm going to have 1/2 inch overlay. That's what I have in extra hinges and stuff laying around. So what I'm going to do is measure all the openings, the drawers and the doors, and add 1 inch in height and 1 inch in width, and that'll give me the 1/2 inch overlay that I need. There, that'll be all my door and drawer blanks. Well, looks like I get to edge or joint a few more boards here for those panels, so be patient. Now that I got a pile edge there, I got a few more down there. I'll start cutting my panels out, or my parts for my panels. I always like to give myself a little extra material to work with. That way I can adjust the boards to try to match grains a little bit. Okay, now we'll start prepping the panels to get glue. The first thing I do is find a couple pipe clamps. I got a few of them up there. And going by my panel size, I'll get a rough dimension here. Keep in mind we want to try to keep colors and grain patterns somewhat close. I oversize these just to accommodate that. There's not a lot of grain features in elders, so that kind of helps. And of course I want to put all the best looking material face up. We'll go from the widest to the narrowest. So the widest is 21 3/4, the actual size. So we want to make sure we're over that. And I like to be over it by a couple inches. And this is at 23 now, so that should give me plenty of excess material to rip off. Then what we want to do, as a table saw will never give you a clean enough edge, not to mention when you're laying these out, if there's any difference in angle, you'll end up with little gaps, and that never looks good on a solid panel door. So what I like to do, I'll put a X across all of these. And then take them back over to the jointer. Raise the jointer up just so that we're taking a very minimal. And then run the X out on one side, the X in on the next, the X out, X in, X out, X in, X out, and so forth. That way if there's any bevel in the jointer, it'll be reversed on our wood. So we should end up with a nice tight joint. And now you can see how our joints get better by reversing each side on the jointer. That gives us a nice clean edge. And if there's any type of bevel, they'll each match. So this one's ready to glue up. A lot of custom manufacturers, they'll keep all your arrows pointed straight up. You know, like on something like this, we got a whole deal there. But we're not going to get too picky with these. It's if they're for the cabin, so. But then you just kind of align it towards the way your X was, and then we'll start gluing them up. Many different ways of clamping wood, but this has been my way for 100 years, so. Pipe clamps are a little cumbersome, but they work well. Now I'm going to try this Gorilla Glue that I've never used before, at least the one part. I used to use the two-part mixture. It used to foam up. We're going to see how this stuff works. Otherwise, in the past I have biscuited these together also, but I'm not going to get that carried away on this set. And I was taught that you always do both sides that you're gluing. And that's, I think, mostly to make sure that you're evenly coated on all spots on the panels. They do make roller bottles for this too, but I've never had much luck with them. Either apply way too much or not enough. I tell you, it's been years since I've built cabinets for anything or anyone. And I forgot how it can be enjoyable when it's not a job per se. Definitely nice to see what you can create. Yeah, after they're all glued up, then you want to try to get even pressure up and down. This is where I wish I had my rubber mallet. I have no clue where that is. Had to put some wood in the fire. Okay, this is where I was trying to say that I really miss not having my rubber mallet, because it's nice to get these, tap these into place. Otherwise, there's a whole lot of sanding. Yeah, there can be a little bit of sanding on these, but it shouldn't be too bad. When I had my wide planer, I'd oversize these and run them through the planer and take all that gump off. But seeing how I don't have that anymore, I'm kind of stuck as is. And what I'll usually do is let these panels sit in clamps for about an hour or so while the glue tacks up and dries. But I won't do anything with them for about 24 hours after. That allows the glue have plenty of time to set and dry. Good, just like that. Now, a lot of people will take a wet cloth and clean up the glue squeeze out. I've never been a fan of doing that. I'll take my paint scraper and hit it after, and then use sandpaper to clean it all up after that. That's not a real good thing to have glue on the cast iron tabletops on these saws. Always seems to stain them. But I have no better place to work, so. This garage is only 28 by 30, so it's not a real big space. There, and then back to gluing up panels. I don't know if I made the comment yet, but the glue joint is actually stronger than the wood fibers. If you were trying to break the wood at the seam, it would snap on either side of it. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty simple to scrape off. Everything's got to get sanded anyhow, so as long as you don't gouge the wood, it comes off pretty easy. Okay, in order to size these panels, first thing I do is run them over the jointer to get one straight edge, and then I take off only enough to get rid of any of the bark or ugly edge, and then I'll come back, measure what I need off the fence to the blade, and then rip it to size that way. And then what we'll do is take the panel over to the miter saw there, and see how I don't have a big radial arm saw or a sled table for the table saw here. I'll just do a double cut on the miter saw, flip it back and forth once, and then I'll clean up the edge on the belt sander. Rotate it in order to get this other edge. So there's the door blank, cut to size. Now I got a whole lot of sanding, and then I'll have to dado front and back of this, so I have a tongue. And then what I'll do is make a 3-inch rail with a groove 1 inch deep to slide over the top on both ends. That'll give it a little contrast. Then front and back. Now you see what, that's just off their 60 grit. And I worked my way up to 220, and that's what it started out at. So those will be the rails for the tops and bottoms of the doors. I just got to clean them up now, sand them again. Okay, now we're going to put a dado head on the table saw here. And we're going to create dados on both sides of the panels I just cut to accept the rails once I finish them up. Okay, that's all it does is put a nice dado in it. But I'm gonna move the fence and remove the rest of this and then put a slot on those rails. And I think I got it now. Yeah, but as you see, and they're nice tight joints. You know, obviously these ones haven't been sanded at all, but I'll do the rough sanding once again, get everything down to the same width or thickness, and we'll call them our doors for our cabinets. Okay, well, the door panels over there are drying up. I'm gonna go ahead and use my trim router and just put a nice edge on these drawer fronts. Little sanding sponge, and I'll just go ahead and hit the end grains a little. I don't want to change the profile, so we're only going to go a little bit. Well, there's the what the drawer base will look like. Now I got to figure out what color I want to put on here for stain. So now I'll go ahead and put the edging around the doors, and then I'll go ahead and finish sanding these down. I'm going to go ahead and pre-treat this before the stain with a pre-stain wood conditioner. That should help the stain apply pretty evenly. So you just go ahead and dab this on fairly liberal. And I go through and apply a liberal amount of stain. And by the way, I don't know if anyone's guessed it yet, we are using Minwax English Chestnut. Hope everyone likes the color. Got a lot of different sheens to it, and a lot of that's the wood itself. A lot of hard spots, a lot of soft spots. So it all takes on different coloration in the with the stain.